When we're driving on the many roadways here in South Carolina, there are so many trucks on the road. But what does it take to run a small business trucking operation? Jim Drennan, the president of Superior Transportation, is here to tell us all about it and extend the message that trucking is everybody's business. Jim, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Of course, of course. All right, so as we know, we're driving on the roads, we see so many trucks. But what does Superior Transportation specialize in?
Superior is what's known as a heavy haul carrier. We're part of the open deck segment of trucking. So we do oversized, over-dimension work. Our logistics moves are generally like transformers that we move for public utilities, bridge beams for infrastructure work, as well as heavy equipment for construction and road construction.
So as I understand it, all transportation was deregulated in the 1980s. So how is trucking regulated now?
That's correct. It was deregulated in the 1980s, and that dealt with the economic aspect of trucking. So when that regulation went away, it allowed people to enter the market, people to pick kind of small niches like Superior and do the heavy haul work. But then the federal and state officials went back and decided they need to regulate trucking through safety and compliance, and that's what we're facing with today, is the re-regulation of trucking through safety, also with our insurance companies. Our insurance companies are huge partners with us to help us to make sure that we're safe on the roads. Obviously, insurance is a very expensive part of our industry, and we have to make sure that we are safe in order to operate and compete in the markets.
So how does that impact operations?
Well, actually, the adoption of technology has been the best thing we've been able to use. Now we have the capabilities to live track trucks, drivers' hours of service, their speed, braking, and the use of dash cams as well. Federal and state people use license plate readers in weigh stations to take a picture of our license plate. It instantly pulls up our safety scores and our ratings, and it allows the enforcement people to pay attention to those carriers that may need a little help, while the good carriers in good standing can keep rolling right along.
So what do you have to do to stay in compliance?
Well, this is our safety book right here. This is the rule book that we have to comply with. In this book is insurance requirements, it is driver requirements, it's cargo, hazardous material, everything that we have to comply with. So this is our Bible, this is what we start with.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, it's a lot. We also have a DOT number that all the trucks have on the side of their trucks. And whenever we are inspected or any compliance work we had, it goes through that DOT number, and that way when we go through a scale, they can pull that DOT number up and see our safety score. We also have drivers are required to have just a single driver's license called commercial driver's license, and inside that commercial driver's license is their driving record for the highways, as well as their inspection scores. When they go through inspections, we also be able to see that. We are required by law to make sure that we review their MVR before we hire them, as well as what's known as their PSP score, which is their inspection score. Our driver qualification files are a litany of federal requirements we have to do in order to qualify our driver before we can even hire them. All drivers have to have a DOT physical. The doctor that performs the physical has to be registered with Department of Transportation, and he also has to handle the drug testing. There's a national clearinghouse for alcohol and drug testing that all drivers are members of, and we as carriers are required by law to verify clean driving records and clean drug testing before we're able to hire a driver.
So with all of this, what are your greatest concerns in today's environment?
It's really just the unknown. What we do with the oversized over-dimension requires lots of planning. We have to make sure that we're compliant with infrastructure, with utilities. All the states that we travel, we have to have permits for. Some of those permits can take up to 10 days in order for us to receive them. So we plan and schedule as best as we can. But even with all the best planning, even with all the right safety requirements, all the compliance that we do, it seems to be that incidents are inevitable. We do our best, no matter how hard we hire, how hard we train, how much we work on getting our equipment right on the roads. All this is just part of the problem that we face as an industry. We are an industry that's operated by humans. We operate on the public's highways, also interacting with other humans. So again, accidents seem to be inevitable. And when they do, it seems that sometimes truck owners get pulled into the accidents and find themselves in lawsuits, and that they had little contribution or no contribution to it all. This is just the system that we're currently in. This is where we work. Our our highways are our workplace, and we deal with the public each and every day.
So where can people go to find out more information about this? I know there's so much.
There is a lot out there, but South Carolina is fortunate with our trucking association, and as you said in the beginning, trucking is everybody's business. So we have set up a website called truckingiz.org, and I encourage people to spend a few minutes to look at what we're doing.
Great. Well, Jim, thank you so much for being here and for sharing all of this really important information.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.